Scott, let's talk about first just your trip getting down here. I understand it wasn't the easiest. Tell us what happened.
We flying out of Boise, we got diverted to where was it? Corpus Christi, because they would put planes in hold, and so they're all circling the airport. We got diverted to Corpus Christi to refuel because they put holds on flights coming into Houston for a big storm that came through. So with that happening, we missed our connecting. Everything was sold out getting down here, so we ended up staying the night in Houston. I should have called my cousin, but we just grabbed the hotel. My cousins live out in Houston. My one cousin's married to Brian Cushing. My other one plays for the Houston Rush, the women's pro MLS team. So we were gonna call them, but it was short. We were trying to grab food and get into a hotel. So.
What's it like for you? I mean, obviously, you know, you're trying to peak as an athlete, you're trying to get everything dialed in, and then this gets thrown. Certainly you're a veteran of the sport, but I mean, how do you get through that and not let it get to you?
It has happened already. So, you know, as things arise, you know, in this sport, you kind of become accustomed to them. It happened to me when I went down to go fight Wilson down in Brazil. It just didn't mean anything. It was just, I had to say night Houston. We're here, we're ready to rock, we feel good, so.
What do you end up doing? Were you like working out in the airport or just hanging out?
Nah, UFC got us a room, so we went out, ate. I mean, it was such a pain in the butt. You know, it took us like 3.5, 4 hours to get our bags pulled out of the plane and for them to find it. So we sat in the airport, and then by the time we got to the hotel, it was like grab some food, get some sleep. We left at, I mean, we all left the house at like, I think like 6 a.m. So we've been up dragging on. So we just went, ate, crashed out.
Nice. Well, now you're here, thankfully. Big fight for you? I mean, does this feel like one that, you know, I know you never like talk about must win, but does this feel like that type of position for you?
You know, I've always said it's a must win. This is just another fight, man. I feel really, really good about it. You know, I've done a couple interviews lately, and I've talked to them. I said, you know, going to 25 took the fun away from fighting, and that's, you know, it made me focus on weight cutting, shit that I never had to deal with when I wrestled even. Like, I wrestled my weight. I wrestled 133 pounds. I made weight comfortably and was able to focus on training and enjoying what I was doing in wrestling. And then when I came to MMA, same thing. I was able to focus on fighting. I was able to focus on enjoying it. I loved training. I loved the sport. When I went to 25, I hated it. I ran more than I wanted to. It was, you know, watching my weight. It was watching what I eat. And it was almost neurotic in the way that it was trying to make sure that I was always within weight. At 25, I hated everything. I just didn't enjoy the sport. So, you know, coming back up to 35, it's been great. You know I lost my last fight against Gambarian. I probably should have pulled out of that. I got MRSA 2 weeks before, tore my MCL the first day back training, a week before the fight. But I've done it before, and I fought injured, and I said, all right, I can do it. And went out there and I fought safe, and I think everybody saw that. You know, my output was far below anything I've ever done in my career, and thank God everything that I've done in my career, you know, I still had this job. I still have an opportunity to prove that I'm still one of the best in the world, and I am. You know, I just lost track of things. It's easy to do in this world.
I read that you're working with a sports psychologist as well, and I wanted to ask you kind of what results you're getting, and if you feel like that's something that more guys should be doing, because I almost feel like it's something in fighting where people go, it's like a manly thing, like I shouldn't be talking to it, but getting your mind right in this sport seems super important.
I know for me, 95% mental. The sport is. I've done everything physically. I pushed my body beyond anything anybody in this sport's probably ever done. I don't even think of him as a sports psychologist. He's my mental coach, and it's Dr. Jim Affermau. He's got a book out, Gold Medal Mind, but he's made me love the sport again. You know, I love training. I got a goal. I got a plan. You know, I'm more excited for this fight. You know, he worked with me. He did time with just me solo, and then he did stuff with me and Kit together. And so, you know, we've been, you know, implementing the stuff that he's been putting us through, and I feel great. You know, that's why getting delayed in Houston was like, this is small. We got this. So.
You talked about some of the losses. Is it a weird compliment in a way that the Zuffa, the UFC, you know, that they've stuck with you? Is it like a compliment of your fighting style and the person that you are that say, yeah, this guy's had some losses, but we still got him on the roster because we know he shows up to fight?
I think that is huge. That is a big compliment. And that's one thing you guys know when I step in the cage. I fight my butt off. It's going to be a fast-paced fight, and I'm not going to just go out there to fight safe and take someone down and lay on them. I mean, you haven't seen me wrestle in how many years? And that's where I came from, and that's my bread and butter. And you haven't seen me looking for takedowns to just put guys on the ground to get off our feet. You haven't seen that. But you know, mentally, you've got to be there. I think this, my coach, Dr. Aframiles, helped me a world, and getting me back to why I'm still here in Zuffa. Getting me back to the old Scott Jorgensen. People forget they only count my UFC record. There's a reason I'm still number one, tied for me and Mizugaki. I'm still tied for number one most wins at bantamweight, and that's going to go up one on. I'll go back to holding it solely come Saturday night, and so. I think people forget that. They lose track of it between the transfer over from WEC to UFC. Like 24, this is my 24th fight for Zuffa. Like, UFC is just a small part of where I came from. So, I've always thought we were from the UFC. So, it feels good. People can talk about the records, media can talk about it. I don't give a shit.